Welcome back to Quantum Black Girl. We are joined by special guest Harold.
Yeah, it's Harold.
Tell us a little bit about our special guest.
So, Harold Washington is my new dog. He's 2 years old.
He's just a baby.
He's only a boy. But yeah, we just got him last week, and look how sweet he is.
Yay.
He's very sweet. He's very cute, very playful. He's a good boy.
He's the best boy.
He's named after a very prominent old Chicago mayor. Very
Really?
yeah, Chicago the first black mayor of Chicago.
Oh, wow.
Harold Washington. Yeah. So that's who he is.
That's who he is. He's a new
Very
addition.
very distinguished. And
Welcome,
he's very
Harold.
good. So he'll be in and out, I'm sure. Because he's got other things to do. He's got more pressing matters. But he's gonna join us for a little bit.
Wonderful. I am Lindsay.
Yeah, and I am Tesh.
And we are your hosts of Quantum Black Girl. And today, we have quite a few things that we are going to get into.
Yeah, so we wanted to talk a lot about manifestation because we touched on it the last episode just a little bit, and we kind of wanted to talk about our experiences with manifestation, and then also just the ins and outs of it and how it shows up in our reality. Like,
Yes.
I don't think I'm speaking for myself. I'm not exactly like 100% an expert in anything really, but this is just my interpretation of like how manifestations worked for me, and I imagine for you as well.
So we're going to look at it from the micro, but also we can speak to the macro, and where we see the most confusion with it could be interfaith. So we can speak to obviously the Black community, Black Christianity, and what I like to call the Christianity consciousness cap, because there are a lot of ways in which, if you don't have the right vantage point for the scripture, it will put a actual limitation on what you believe is possible, what you believe is possible for yourself, and how much you can actually help yourself. So we went straight into, the very familiar proverb, God helps those who help themselves. And that speaks directly to what else you were talking about earlier, Tesh, which was what faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
Talk about that, because all of this ties directly into what we call here now manifestation. All of it ties directly into quantum awareness, light mechanics. It's just like people get stuck at certain vantage points of consciousness.
Right.
And the whole you're not a god, you're not God. I got a lot of that under We Love Cypher. I guess his name is Justin. We love this dude.
He's on Instagram and
Under Cypher.
yeah, and on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he goes by Cypher, and he was having he was kind of going on a rant, as he does, but he was going on a rant
Blessed.
a blessed rant
Yeah.
about decolonizing Christianity and like what Christianity could be and has been, and it has always been in my mind to talk about, like, because something my aunt used to say all the time is faith without works is dead. So like you're always praying and then like not doing something about it, because that to me is also just like a tenet of manifestation. It's like you're doing a lot of like affirmations, and you're doing techniques, which is a whole there's a whole thing about that. But like you're doing all these things to bring about the thing that it is that you're trying to bring in your experience. And then but then not, you know, you're not getting inspiration to do the thing. So there is a concept in manifestation about resting in your feminine energy. Feminine not meaning like girl boy energy, you know, feminine, more like the energy of receptivity, like receiving. And so it's less about it is about receiving, like that is what manifestation is about the being open to receive. But there is a masculine aspect of manifestation also, where you are doing,
There it is.
where you have to like, so like for instance, I want to write a book. So if I want to write a book, sure, I could talk all day long about like the things that I want to happen when I do write this book, and I'm willing to receive you know,
That download.
right, and readership, and you know, a mentor and all of those things. But the masculine aspect of it is I have to actually write the book.
There it is.
You have to, like, you can't just keep hoping, wishing, praying and not seeing the action behind it. You have to take that very Mars action, you know, of like, I gotta do something in order for this thing to happen.
And I like to think about the action not just as physical writing it out, but also the action that behooves many people to take is adjusting our vantage point of our understanding
Right.
of what the text is. And that looks like exactly what we're saying. So there's the first original split that has caused all the chaos in the world, basically, which is the split of putting God outside of yourself. That is the fundamental downfall of, I can confidently say, almost every single thing. There's not one thing that can't be traced back to when you put the divine power outside of yourself and make it an appeal to something outside of yourself. That's actually a loss of your own power,
Your own autonomy.
and that's also double-sided with the understanding that you know, we are complete fractals of something larger, but
Right.
also we are still that thing.
Right. So whether you call that God, universe, source, whatever, you're you are a divine spark, right? So there is also a biblical verse that says the kingdom of heaven is within you. That's literal. The kingdom of heaven is within you. So if it's already happening,
Where
if
is
it's
that
already
gone? Where is that understanding
yeah, if
gone?
that's already happening and was already here, then you don't have to look outside of yourself. You're looking inside of yourself in order for things to transform, in order for you to manifest things, so that you don't have to, you're not begging some amorphous thing outside of yourself. You're looking within and starting to, like, you know, point towards the thing that you want on the inside, and also understanding that you are deserving of that thing because you are God, because you are universe, source, whatever. It's already inside of you. It's already created. There's also that understanding of like creation is already done.
Yeah.
So therefore the very idea of you wanting it means that it's already happened. It's already there for you.
That is you at a, quote unquote further out point in space time,
Yeah.
signaling there's an alignment there.
Yeah, there is an alignment that can happen. So it's because we are human beings, like we're we're spirit trapped inside of these like meat sacks. And we
That are
are
also, consciousness as well.
yes. So because of that, we have to travel through space and time in order to get to the thing. So one of the other things that I'm going to talk a lot about things that irk me with manifestation, or at least with people who like purport to be like, coaches in manifestation, because you'll see it a lot on YouTube. They'll be like, manifestation is instant, and I'm like, no, it's not, because I know that it's not. It is. It's very much because we are trapped individuals, beings. We're trapped in space time. There is no such thing as instant. Instant in your mind, absolutely, and then already done one through space time, yes. But if you want the thing, and if it's something really complicated, it absolutely is not done tomorrow or instantly, as people say. It takes time to get to that thing. You have to travel through space in order to get to that thing, because we are bound by that.
We have, it's like our limitations create freedom. I like thinking if everything was instantaneous, what would the point be?
Right.
That's why in the upper realms things are more instantaneous, because liquid light plasma travels differently than like our particles do here.
Right.
So it will take less time to like move through space and all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, there was something really great that I was going to talk about. I forget.
It'll pop up. It'll
Come back.
That happens a lot. It pops into your mind and then back out.
It was our talking about, this was such a great way you put it, to think about if you struggle with thinking about like, okay, creation is finished, what does that mean? We're in time, what does that mean? How do you conceptualize that? We had a really great, what was it, like an analogy about the film strip.
Film strip, yes.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't make that up. There was another creator like on YouTube that helped me understand that. So think of time as a movie, like a film strip. So you take one snapshot or one cell of that film, and that's a snapshot in the movie. But as the movie goes on, as the film is moving in the machine, then that is time moving through it, right? So, you can't understand how the movie's going to end because you haven't seen the last scene.
But in 4D, so now we imagine this is how you can kind of conceptualize the fourth dimension can see you through time, and that's what we call our higher self, or our Ori,
Right.
in African traditional religion, that can see that full film strip.
Yeah.
That's where it's still you, but in a higher dimension.
Right.
That is your Ori, your higher self, that has the full film strip available,
Right.
to look at and be like, okay, you want the next cell to be this?
Yeah.
Here's what you have to do. I'm going to send you the download. And you were saying how you got that analogy from a great creator.
Yeah. So it's, you get the download or the idea or whatever it is that you're trying to bring about. So your higher self already understands that you are going to get to that point if you make these particular actions, if you do this particular thing. And it can be hard to conceptualize it. It can be hard to see it in total, because I think that part of it is having a very active imagination. Like I have a really very accurate imagination, and so like imagination is definitely a part of the whole thing of manifestation, because you're utilizing you're utilizing a part of your brain that is really good at coming up with fabricating things in space. In the mind space even. And so it's really interesting to try to, like, if you are like wanting a trip to Barcelona or something, and you want to manifest that trip, well, you can even go as far as to say, I want that trip for free, so that part is not that is not your work, though. Like, it's not your work to figure out how you're going to get the free trip, but it is your work to imagine yourself at places in Barcelona.
I get that confused sometimes myself. Like,
I do too.
how am I going to get the thing?
Yeah, but that's not your job, because your higher self knows. Your higher self, your Ori, your ancestors. I work with my ancestors a lot. The universe already knows how to get you the thing. Your job is to have the desire, and then to imagine the end, because that is something that Neville Goddard says a lot.
Exactly.
Is recognize and live in the end. And living in the end is all that means is understanding that you already have the thing, and you're there already in your mind, in your spirit, in your feelings, because your feelings are a big part of it too. Being like having the feeling that you're already there, you already have it, all of that is about living in the end of the conceptualization of that thing that it is that you want. So your job is not to try to figure out how to get a free trip to Barcelona. Your job is to already be in Barcelona. He tells this very long story about his teacher.
Yes, we love
Abdullah.
Yes, we love Abdullah.
and he tells this story about going to Barbados. Neville Goddard, his family is from Barbados. And he was at the time working in New York, and he was a kid when he was learning from his teacher. And he really wanted to go back home, but he didn't have any money. And he didn't know how he was going to go. And he didn't know how he was going to get there. But he was like, I really want to go back home. And so his teacher, Abdullah, was like, you're already in Barbados. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you're in Barbados. And so
don't come back.
And don't come back here until you're in Barbados. So he goes through this whole thing about like, he was like, I don't know how that's going to happen. But he just kept, like, his teacher kept saying, you're in Barbados. Don't come back to me until you got the ticket to go to Barbados. And there was this series of events, which we call the Bridge of Incidents. So it's like there's a series of events that started to happen. So he's dreaming of himself of being on the boat to Barbados. He's thinking about his family home in Barbados. And so I don't know how long that, I think it was like 3 months or something. And Harold's got his
he has
toy,
a champagne bottle.
so that's why you hear honking if you do hear it. So anyway, he gets to Barbados, or he gets to the idea of being in Barbados, and finally there was something that happened where his brother sent him a letter with a ticket
That's right.
in in the letter saying, here's a ticket for you to come home to Barbados.
Can we talk about the most crucial part about this? Because so smart. He can play fetch. He's 2 years old. Can play fetch
By himself.
by himself.
I don't have to do anything. He
knows
just
how.
he throws it by himself and then grabs it and then and then catches and goes and runs after it. It's so funny to watch him do that.
So this is a great way to think about what I'm about to say next. So they always talk about holding the vibration, and that's the most important part. And the frustration that we can feel when we launch ourselves, like the desire is the initial kind of like push on the gas pedal, but that imagine being like, all right, I'm gonna go to the grocery store, and you just hit the gas pedal once and you're like, I'm not there, I'm so mad. I've done everything wrong.
Right.
It's like you've gone 2 feet because you just hit the gas pedal once.
Right.
Like, what's that combustion engine through time that gets you there? You can think of like the gas in the tank and the combustion of the engine and the going forward of the momentum as being the holding of the vibration of this is already done. It has happened for me because the universe is for me and never against me.
Right.
And that's the mechanics of how that works.
Right.
That's where a lot of folks can like falter because you could say, to some folks, the holding of it is the harder part.
That is the hardest part. It's not, but
right. It's like, how do we want to we don't want to orient ourselves into it
because
being
you don't
hard.
because it's not about it being hard. It is another thing that irks me about manifestation coaches is they're like, oh, you need to be in the vibration. No, you don't. We're human beings. So as human beings, we feel all kinds of emotions about things. And, I'm a neurospicy girly. I have ADHD. I have seasonal depression. And PMDD. I got all the things. And sometimes, I'm not in a high vibration. I'm not always up. And so instead of saying that like, oh, you need to be in a higher vibration, the whole idea is to just understand that you are going to have the ebb and flow. For instance, I am manifesting a couple things right now. And so they're not on my doorstep right now. And it is extremely frustrating because I try to be a patient person, but I'm not. I think that I've got more patient as I've gotten.
Me neither.
I've gotten more patient as years have gone on, but it is still, it's tenuous at best. And so there are times where I ebb and I'll say, this is never going to happen for me. It's never going to be what I want it to be. It's just not going to happen. But you don't know. You don't know what's happening behind the scenes. You don't know how the bridge of events are going to go. Because that is, again, not your work. That's not your job to know. It's not your job to know that oh, well, this thing over here is happening, or this person is talking about this, and that's what's leading. And it's not your job. So the whole, and I'm a ruminator. So I tend to be like, well, how is it going to, work and whatever. And that's just not what you're supposed to do.
This is such a great reminder for me personally.
It's a reminder for me too. I'll probably be listening to this many times. So the point is there's no such thing as you got to be in a higher vibration and all of that stuff, because I personally don't believe in higher or lower. There's just it's a spectrum. You know, I'm not a binary girl. I believe that, you know, things, the frequencies are different, and it's all a spectrum, just like light is a spectrum. And so
I think we were also talking about like being wary of assigning bad to lower vibration.
Yeah.
Because we do ourselves a disservice when we polarize things.
For sure.
Like we have our preferences and everything, but without feeling those lower vibes, you can't go to where you're trying to go.
Right.
You know?
And then
everything serves us, which is the hardest thing to get our heads around.
right.
But like I know personally in my life that it's true, and I've been through like some horrendous, awful physical stuff that I would like not even wish on literally anyone living.
Yeah. But then the higher vibration is also, if you're faking it, that's not real either. Like you can't fake
lie.
the funk, right? Like you can't fake that it's, you know, oh, I'm so high vibrational, and like that doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
No,
Like,
because the part of you that knows you.
right. So if you are on a quote unquote lower frequency, if you're not, you know, if you're not in that state of like, you know, joy or happiness, the thing that works best for me is just the knowing. Like knowing, because it is the desire in my heart and my mind that it is going to work out the way that it needs to. I'll even say for when I was looking for Harold, my old dog passed away 3 years ago, and you know, a year after that I was like, okay, I'm ready to have a dog, but it just like didn't ever like work out the way that I thought it needed to, because you know, I had thought about going to adoption things, or like I was gonna go but something set me back or whatever it was. And so this last time that I decided that I wanted to, I was like, okay, I'm getting a dog for real, I'm doing it. And so I went to the animal shelter, but the one that I went to, they didn't have any little dogs, and I really wanted a little dog. All their dogs were like 30 pounds. And so I was like, okay, well, fine. I'm just going to go to another shelter. They gave a list of shelters with smaller dogs. And so my intention was very much, I want a smaller dog. Now, I had different ideas about how I wanted him to look, because I was like, I want a black dog. I wanted a girl. But the whole thing is that I wanted the right dog for me. So, you know, I set my intention a week before. It happened to be Dia de Muertos. And so I put out an offering for my dog, for my old dog. And, you know, there's a whole thing, it's just like an offering for like an altar that you would do for people, is that you also do it for your animals that have passed away. And I hadn't done anything for her since she passed away. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. And then I kind of talked out loud about what I wanted in a new dog. And then I was like basically asking her, like, help me find the dog that you know that I want, like, and the kind, you know, someone like you, but you know, someone, you know, a dog that I could give a good home to, you know. And then I found him, because when I saw him, I knew. Like, we spent time together at the shelter, and he looked up at me after the attendant was like, what do you think? And he looked up at me, and I had that emotional feeling. And I was like, yep, it's him. And, you know, I've only had him a week, but he's like, he fits right into my lifestyle. We are really good friends. We're starting to become really good friends, and he knows that this is his home. So it's just this idea that even though it came from a very emotional, even sad place, because it's like, I just want my old dog back. But it was also like, but I know what it is that I'm looking for. I know what I want, and I'll know it when I see it. And all of the time that passed from the time she passed away to now, me thinking that, oh, I want another dog, I want another dog, I was still holding the vibration of I want another dog.
And that brings us to actually really perfectly when we were talking about thought patterns and what we know to be self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
And I forget if we talked about this in the last episode, honestly, but we talked about, you know, whether you believe a thing or not, you are right. And
Yes.
so we were talking about like, oh, you know, I want this house, and you go about it like, the right house just doesn't exist.
Right.
That's really
Then you're right.
not going to help you.
I'm never gonna find a relationship.
That was another one.
I'm never gonna find. So if you say I'm never gonna find a relationship, yeah, you're right.
And it's like, okay, why are you right?
Yeah.
Why are you right? Because the universe responds to our actual intentions.
Right. It responds to our intentions. It responds to our thoughts. So, like, if you're thinking all the time, I'm never going to find anybody. Yeah, you're right. And again, it is that idea, that is that concept of, you know, you can be in the, you know, the current energy of feeling that way, but just knowing that even though my thoughts are there, my heart, my spirit isn't.
And then that brings us to like responsibility, which is all the books that are out right now around this is really talking about responsibility. Like the book that changed my life, I did talk about this in the last episode, You're a Badass at Making Money, was all about taking complete and 100% ownership of everything that has transpired in your life.
Yeah.
And one of the kind of filters of perception that is put over Black people specifically is one of victimhood. It's victimizer programming.
Right.
And this is where having your like duality cap on is really, really important, because it's very easy to become immediately like, I can speak for myself. There would be a point in time in which I would be like, we absolutely are. How dare you say that we're not victims of anything? Like, look at everything that's transpired.
Right.
And it's yes, and also we can't downplay our own responsibility that creates the conditions for our success and for our failure. And this even comes back into like the Christianity consciousness cap, and we could break it down even smaller into literal spells. And because if you understand, you know, words are spells.
That's why I call it
as
spelling.
we speak out. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, so shall it be. So we have to reconcile with the institutions that perpetuate things like we shall overcome one day. This is really serious. It's really serious because it's obviously from Black church. It's a great song. We have so many great hymns, so many great songs.
Yeah.
And some of them are like that. It's not we overcome right
Not
now.
It's someday.
It's someday.
Yeah.
And while the value of catharsis is absolutely real, catharsis circles don't Remember how we're like, you need to put your foot on the gas pedal to get you to the grocery store? Like, catharsis circles don't put your foot on the gas pedal to go to the grocery store.
It's very,
And we can honor that.
for sure.
It's all about honoring the integrity of what is, the integrity of the Black church. Wonderful, great. And it's our responsibility to, God helps those to help ourselves, to adjust our vantage point as to what is actually transpiring.
Yeah. Because the thing is that you can look at the systems and understand that the system is working against you. They, when you say, they, you're talking about the system, but the system absolutely is designed to work against you. It is. It's designed in a very specific way to make you feel as though you don't have agency over yourself. You're constantly thinking about, well, how am I going to get over? How am I going to get over? And, it's designed to keep you worrying, and it's designed to keep you stuck. It's designed to keep you not fully engaged with your body,
unable to be.
Yeah. And so I
emotionally, biochemically.
And I personally understand that, like, being someone who has experienced, economic stress, meaning not having no money, like, you constantly are trying to dig yourself out of a hole that was designed for you. And I think,
literally designed for you.
And so I think that what helped me was trying to make the distinction of, yes, there is a system, and that system is working against me, but also I am autonomous. I have agency. I also have spirit working in my favor. Like I said, I work with my ancestors. So seeking something outside of yourself is, even though we talk about, God being, inside of you and you working with that, working with my ancestors, me specifically, I'm working outside of myself, because I know that those people who, and especially like I say ancestors, but they are family that I knew in life also. I know that they are, if I ask them for something, they're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna do our best to do that, because not only am I giving them, something, meaning I'm recognizing them, I give them offering, which could be anything. It could be flowers. It is a lot of things, but it's flowers, it's water, but it's also just recognition, just calling name. Like, if I'm calling their name, I'm calling out my grandma's name or my grandpa's name or my mother's name. If I'm calling them out, that recognition is also offering. So if I'm saying, hey, grandpa. So, like, my grandpa and my grandma were really good at money. Like, we weren't like wealthy or anything, but they raised 5 kids. And my grandpa, it was very much the stereotype of Jamaicans have a bunch of jobs. And that is a stereotype.
I don't think I knew you were Jamaican.
Yeah, well, my grandpa was. So, like... So he had a bunch of jobs. He was a carpenter. He worked at the Wonder Bread shop at, Wonder Bread facility at one point. He worked for Ford Motor Company. They had a bunch of properties. My grandma had like 3 jobs. So like they was hustling because they had 5 kids.
Yeah.
So when I need money, who am I going to ask? I'm going to say grandpa, and my grandpa gave me anything I wanted.
I believe
when I was a kid.
I believe it.
I say, grandpa, can I have $5? And he'd give me $5. Yep. And so it's like, that's the person I'm going to call on when I need money. I'm going to call on my grandma and grandpa who were good at money. Hey, I need, and I have many stories about that.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes I mismanage money.
Same.
And
Big
sometimes, but
same.
also like saying mismanaged when we're in a system that is like designed against you is crazy,
Yeah.
because we're always talking about, money management, but it's like,
It's not even anything close to it's feeling management. It's
Right.
reality. It's safety management.
exactly.
Like that's what the thing really is.
Yeah.
I've had to work with myself so hard, and I still am working with myself in understanding my tendency to splurge and spend comes from needing to feel safe in some way.
Yeah.
That came from needing to like keep up with the Joneses and the hyper vigilance of being the model minority.
Yeah.
And knowing that you're being perceived as carrying all of blackness, representing all of blackness to white people.
Yeah.
And therefore you have to be like, the black excellence is like a sham now. We've kind of come into understanding like, okay, black excellence is like for the white gaze
Right.
in some degree, but
To some degree. But I mean, and my overspending comes in clothes. I like looking a certain way, but I know
yeah.
that looking but I know that looking a certain way comes with like body image. It comes with like my identity as like a queer femme. I want to look a certain way for, just for my own validation sometimes. So like I have to be like, okay, girl, you got enough clothes, first of all. And secondly, I would say like 80% of the time I look like a bum. I'm like t-shirt and t-shirt and sweatpants, but I mean, it also is a-okay for us to be like, we deserve nice things. So there is all this dichotomy that's going on. It's just like
everything
it's yes and
everything is yes and.
Right.
For example, we can bring all this back to, okay, we'll take it back to perception and consciousness, and how perception, there's so many lenses in front of our perception that cause us to act out and believe that we are less than someone else, for example, or this is just how this group of people behaves. And we can bring that back to another amazing Neville Goddard teaching, which is really just another Afrocentric teaching, which you can literally even find in The Lion King. It's talking about, when the world turns its back on you, you turn your back on the world.
Yeah.
Neville Goddard says, disregard everything about your present circumstances. Absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, for example, Essence just posted, Essence is getting on my nerves.
In what way?
Oh.
In what way? Tell me.
Because they post inflammatory content.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
don't add any kind of tincture or medicine or supplement in there at all. And so they'll recently there was a post about literally a mob of black children following the black mother and her kids, talking about you're ashy, your ankles are ashy, and all the comments are like, lock them up,
right,
and lock the mom up too, and
but
it's a bunch of, we should know better. It's the same type of like catharsis of pointing out. Again, catharsis doesn't get us closer to the goal.
Right.
What gets us closer to the goal is the follow-up post being, let's talk about, this is how this has come to be, and here's how we solve this now.
Problem,
And
yeah.
we solve it by understanding intergenerational trauma.
Mm-hmm.
That's why these kids are acting that way.
Yeah.
And, nervous system regulation and what the bullying even really means
Yeah.
and how we can turn our backs on everyone as a society
Yeah.
and reform our own self concept.
Right. Because, like, when that is a very tragic thing that happened. Like, it was really, I watched the video, it was very hard to watch.
Yeah.
Because it speaks to a couple things. Because, like,
Yeah.
first of all, the mother is ill. I believe that she has sickle cell. And so that's one. So that's why she couldn't defend herself and her kids. Two, that those kids have been bullying that kid for like a year.
Okay.
For
See,
like
I didn't even know any of this.
So they've been bullying that one kid for, I think it might even be 2 years. They were bullying him for a really long time. So that tells you something about the school.
Exactly.
And that happens a lot in the schools. So they'll just be like, oh, they'll work it out amongst themselves or whatever. And then they don't, whenever there is a bullying situation, the school, the administration, the teachers, they just let it rock, because for whatever reason I can't understand. So that tells you institutionally with the school, there's something going on. And then then it's like public facing. So because people don't know the ins and outs of what happened.
And because Essence just decided to shame a bunch of kids and the entire community.
Right. So then they don't, so then the community as a whole, meaning like that, people on the outside, people who don't live in Chicago, which irks me, it's like people who don't even live here don't know exactly what's happened, and all they see is
craziness and chaos.
A roving gang of elementary school kids, and they don't know exactly why this is happening, who, what, when, where, and why, right? And so then becomes confusion, chaos, judgment, people pointing fingers, where's the parents at, and you don't know. And because I don't know where them parents are at.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that happened. All I know is that it happened, and now it has to be addressed in a very specific way. Me and my friend were actually talking about that. And
really?
And and he had some really good ideas because he is a teacher. And he was like, first of all, the parents of those kids need to be held accountable. Not like, yes, the kids need to be held accountable, but the parents also, because whatever reason that's happening, the parents need to be part of that scrutinization, insofar as there needs to be counseling, there needs to be structure, there needs to be accountability for, if this happens again, then the parent is getting it. Because why aren't you, checking in with the kid and finding out why are you bullying someone?
And all of it comes back to the level of consciousness that we have as individuals and a collective. Right. And that takes us straight back to
consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to consciousness and the Christianity cap and the limitations therein and the responsibility that we have to elevate our consciousness into a higher understanding of what it means to be alive. It is serious. It's that serious.
There's a video that you and I watched last time. It's by this creator, Ho_math. It's HOE_math. On YouTube, and he has an excellent layout. Like, he made a whole chart of the levels of, does he call it the levels of consciousness?
Yeah, I think so.
But it's the levels of consciousness, or the levels of understanding, basically. And there's like 9 levels. And so, like, just to give you a synopsis, like, the first level is eating, like using the bathroom. So like just signals that you get from your body. So that would be like the first level. Like I need to sleep, I need to eat, I need to go pee, like that kind of stuff. But then like the ninth level is so crazy I can't even explain
it's a lot.
But it's like you looking down at you, looking at a situation, looking at, and it's just like holy shit.
That's really great, because I mean that brings us to where I feel a lot of folks get trapped in between those levels, which is like, I'm perceiving myself and I'm aware that you're perceiving me, and therefore I need to act some way to appease your perception of me.
And that's when we were talking about blackness.
Yeah.
Because
and how that leads to self-abandonment and a whole bunch of other stuff.
And also like autoimmune diseases and stuff, because you're worried about what white people think.
Yep.
When you're doing literally anything.
Yep.
And I see that a lot, like, because I'm always in the comment section. I'm in a comment section somewhere. I try not to like engage because it can get really too much for me, but I'll look into comment sections of whatever is posted when people are having discussions about things, and they are, oh, I lost it. What were you talking about?
It's okay. I was like, it's the trap that black people get stuck in.
Oh yeah. And so they'll be a black person saying something like, you know, they'll have some sort of like respectability politic thing going on. And it's like, why are you worried about what white people think right now? This thing is happening, and you're worried about what? Like,
that's on TikTok too.
Here's a for instance, a black woman wearing bonnets outside.
Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. That's on TikTok.
Yeah. And so people have this whole thing about black women wearing bonnets. Now, I'll say for myself, I don't want to wear bonnets outside.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
Yeah.
And I don't have any problem with anybody else wearing whatever the hell makes them comfortable. Like where people would be upset about black women wearing bonnets on the plane. Listen, you just got your hair done. You're going to Barbados.
Right. Wherever you're going.
Or wherever you're going, and you don't want to mess up your hair. So I'm wearing a bonnet until I get there, because I literally just got my hair done, and people got a problem with it. Yeah.
And let's just draw the exact line between the trap of respectability politics, which is a trap of perception.
Right.
Constantly aware of how you're being perceived by someone else and adjusting accordingly.
Yeah.
When you deviate from your own soul's instincts and your own way of being or doing, or even spend too much time in that particular area of, I'm aware that I'm being perceived by someone and therefore I need to do this differently so that I can blah blah blah, being in that space and feeling trapped there, which is what Dubois, I believe, talks about in the souls of black folk, that the veil of consciousness, where you're always behind this kind of screen that keeps you kind of trapped in other people's perception of you. That's what it's like, a siphoning. It's a siphoning of the soul. It's a split of the soul, and that's what causes and lays the groundwork and the bedrock for the suppression of self, which leads to autoimmune disease, which is why it's our responsibility to unpack all of this from the quantum consciousness, spiritual lens of it all.
Right.
Because it's all one-to-one.
And it's the idea, it's the pairing of both that level of thinking and constantly being behind a mask or a veil, and wanting to bring things and new things into your awareness that you have to play, a balancing act with. Because I believe that perceiving someone perceiving you is like either the third or fourth level of thinking.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like you're always going through whichever levels of thinking. So you're not supposed to, aspire to be a 9, let's say. It's just because you're always going back and forth, because the first level of thinking, you have to for survival, right? You have to drink and eat and sleep and all of that. But as you get higher, all it is that all you're doing is, being more aware. You're being more conscious. It's not about being better. It's just more awareness. Your awareness is heightened. So the more you come out of that, like, white people are looking at me, so therefore I have to act this way. You're more yourself. And the more yourself you are, the easier it is for you to achieve the things that it is that you want to bring into your awareness.
That was beautifully said.
Oh, thanks.
That was beautifully and perfectly said.
Yeah, thank you.
I think this ties really greatly into, something tragic that happened in our community, which is in the creative cosplay art community. A young Black person took their life over racist comments.
Right.
And what is being called cyberbullying. I like to call it weaponized emptiness, when people blow their emptiness through someone else with malicious intent because they are uninformed and weak.
Right.
If you were informed, you would not feel like you need to be better than someone else. So we deal with that en masse. And it's the energetics of it that I love talking about, because I think it brings such a clarity to what is actually going on. Calling something a racist incident doesn't say what's going. It literally says nothing almost, because it's not getting at the truth, which is, the truth is a person weaponized their own internal emptiness and lack of substance and lack of soul and their fear and all their other things that you could look at on like a low vibrational scale, and that has impact. But it literally has impact,
right?
And this, I love getting down into the metaphysical, quantumness of what we are. And therefore, when we have that understanding, it turns words into a thing of substance and meaning,
right,
which they are. So the more you know about what you are, the more you can take what could be a bowling ball being shot at you. Instead of catching that, you can just put your hand up and have it turn into 1,000 butterflies.
Yeah.
But that depends on what you know about what you are. And that's where I feel our responsibility. I bring this up because that's where I feel our responsibility lies. The more we talk about what we are, the less impact other people's words have on us, because who are you?
Right. Yeah, because who are you? I mean, truly.
Because who are you? Oh, wait. You're me? Okay.
Yeah. There is something to be said that this was a very young person. So, like, they were, I think, 23 or 24? 20. And so, when you're very young, you don't quite know how to hold yourself yet. You can.
You could if our world was structured such that, which is why we're here.
I mean, I know that I wasn't. I wasn't all together when I was 20. I am very much together now, in terms of who I know I am. So, like, If I see somebody in the comment section talking shit about me, I'm like, okay. Like what I mean, I know who this person is simply by the way that you're responding to me, responding to how you're showing up, and how you're addressing me. I know what I need to say or what I don't need to say. Yeah. And I know who you are, because one of the things I see in comment sections, you don't even know me, and I say yes I do, because I see how you're acting and reacting to the way that people are talking to you. You are doubling, tripling, quadrupling down on something when somebody's clearly trying to explain something to you, and you have such a lack of awareness that you don't care about like trying to learn or trying to investigate. You don't give a shit. Okay, now I know everything.
Or they can't, because the space within them, this is what tapping does, right? EFT. And we can talk about like again, when you know what we are, it puts everything into perspective. Like you can understand someone else is so full of their own trauma. It's like we're little hard drives, and if we don't clear out our hard drive, we can't take in anything new,
right?
And therefore our ability to respond with any kind of grace or patience or understanding or kindness or to even figure out our shit and just not be triggered at all goes out the window,
and it's leaches out, right?
And
all of that energy, all of that,
there
that putrefaction, just leaches out onto people because they don't know how to deal with their, they haven't dispelled the thing that's happening within them.
I feel called to share something I have never shared, publicly. Okay. And it has to do with on the note of bullying. So in 2022, I was working in Los Angeles as a personal assistant for this queer white woman who had a business, and I was helping her run her business. Did she have mental health problems? Absolutely. I had a dream that one day she unfriended me on Facebook, and I said, oh man, this is going to be the beginning. It should have, I needed the money, so it should have ended there, right? But it didn't. And so I let some things transpire. But the point, okay, so she didn't like how I was handling her children, I suppose.
Okay.
It was, she thought that I didn't allow one of her children to like eat something on a model casting, which there are literal photos of me like handing them drinks and water and food. Okay. But she had been reaching a point in herself that she was not able to kind of come back from with all of her trauma and her mental health and the things that were transpiring in her life. So it turned into a campaign and crusade against me, publicly doxing me, contacting all of my former employees, doing lives with her and her child, talking about me maliciously, saying what things I should do with my hair as a black woman, denouncing that she herself was even white and claiming some like Sami indigenous lineage and therefore she can say these things. It was like denial of responsibility up and down the board and all these things. But the reason I offer this at all is because I did one thing to combat this energetically, and this is what I did. Did I have a good, terrible few cries? Absolutely.
For sure.
I drove my butt to the witch shop in North Hollywood. I got a black candle. I did my protection work over it. And I never said a single thing online. Meanwhile, It's week 3. I mean, the lives every day. People are messaging me like, are you seeing this? Like, you should sue this woman. This is getting really, really bad. Like, she talked about an ex-partner that I had. She was really gunning for me and a few other black folks, right? I said nothing.
Insane.
Because I knew I was protected through this. Like,
Yeah.
I knew I'm going to be okay through this. And the longer I'm silent, the more scared she became.
Right.
Because I'm not putting up any kind of fight because I knew I didn't have to. And this is important from like the energetic perspective. This is how you deal with, I mean, this is a classic scenario of like one white woman literally, like I say this with great compassion. She was trying to Emmett Till me.
Right.
And I'm not even kidding about it.
I believe it.
I had to get this stuff like recorded and saved in case it ever, I couldn't even watch it. I had my friends do it and they like were throwing up in their mouths. Okay.
Oh my God.
This woman ultimately took her own life.
Wow.
Yeah. 3 kids, took her own life at the end of this huge tumultuous period of time.
Yeah.
It was all very unfortunate, but this is how trauma literally works. Like, she had been through so much. Her nervous system was so full. I have so much compassion for her because I knew who she was. I knew her story.
Yeah.
I knew what she had been through. I knew, you know, she had Crohn's, like autoimmune disease was already setting in. Like, I could understand why all of this had happened to her, why suddenly she's taking it out on me. Doesn't make it right. Not at all.
Not at all. No.
But I offer this story to black people who are obviously affected by white people's own trauma that they carry.
Yeah.
There are methods to protect yourself
For sure.
and clear out your own energy.
Yeah.
And not, because
Not
the energetics
hold
of trauma is, I'm going to blow this through you. You're going to blow it
Yeah.
through somebody else. They're going to honk at somebody else. And they're
Yeah.
going to, you know, like, that's how it moves.
Right.
So this is why we talk about clearing out our meridians, going back, reclaiming bits and pieces of ourselves through time, you know, clearing out the trauma.
Right. Wow. Thank you for
That's the
sharing that.
story.
That
Yeah.
is, I mean, I think I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of black people have very similar stories.
They do.
I know that I do. I know I have similar stories with people that you irk just by being your authentic self. You know, I'm thinking of a story very specifically.
Yes.
But like we just by being ourselves, just by being and sometimes like you're not even trying to you're not trying to irk the person, you're not trying to make them feel inferior, but they perceive it as that. They perceive it as inferiority. They perceive it as someone who is like you're trying to, you know, be better than them or whatever. And it's just like, no, girl, I just know myself. I actually don't care about what you think. And that's what irks them.
Yeah.
Is the I don't care,
Yeah.
actually. And it manifests in anger. It manifests in I can't believe this person.
Lethality.
Yeah, I can't believe this person is not recognizing my authority.
Yes.
and
I
it's-
can't believe this person is recognizing my authority.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate because it's like you're right, I don't recognize your authority because you don't have any authority over
me.
Why would you, like, I don't care if you're my boss or not. At any time, like, okay, I'm going to tell the story. It's going to be very quick.
Yeah.
But, so I had a friend who, now let me, stop me if you've heard this one.
Okay.
Or if I told you this already.
If you said it on the podcast, I will tell you.
Yeah. So I had a friend who I had worked with before, who he needed my services. I'm a graphic designer, right?
I think we have said this.
We have told that
Yeah.
story?
And,
Okay.
like, the whole boss, and he was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we did talk about it. Now
That's
I
okay.
remember. But
That's why we
that's
can
what,
edit.
but I'm thinking about that story only because that was the time that I felt the most like this person hates the idea of me feeling like I don't have any authority over this girl.
Yeah.
And she's acting like it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, boy. Because what did you think? I can leave whenever I want. I know what it is that I need.
Don't you do it.
Yeah. It's like, I know what it is that I need, and I can leave whenever I want. And I have the agency, and you don't have agency over me.
That's a very subtle energetic difference, because I've noticed even in myself when I don't present, and this comes with like the seldom talked about model minority archetype that I'm unpacking within myself, and I'm linking this because that brings a certain energy, that brings the like I kind of default to what you have to say energy.
Yeah.
The like, oh, I'm learning from you energy.
Yeah.
And when you don't bring that, it even changes the most like well-meaning of friendships.
Right.
I found.
Yeah.
Because you're no longer asking them for advice or going to them for help. And like, if that's what the friendship is built off of, when you leave that archetype behind, it changes the dynamic of everything. And like, people don't like that.
Right.
So back to manifestation and mantraing our way out of limiting beliefs. Everyone wants to and should want to shed their limiting beliefs. That's how we get what we want.
Right.
We want a platform of 100,000 followers that came to us. Okay. We feel like that's a real pull, but somewhere in us, we go, well, I can't get people to listen to me.
Yeah.
And so you start saying, I resonate with 100,000 people. I resonate with 100,000 people. Like, that's your mantra, right? But you don't believe that.
Right.
Saying that mantra, the key to mantras and using them is you have to believe what it is you're saying, because the goal is not to lie to yourself over and over and over.
Right.
That's not what we're doing when we're manifesting. We want to manifest 100,000 followers. People would say the next step is, I resonate with 100,000 followers. That's my mantra. I resonate with 100,000. Okay, you're lying to yourself.
Right.
And so then people think that's scary. Oh God, well, if I don't believe it, what do I do?
Yeah.
Here's what you do. You change it such that you feel a purchase. You can get a purchase within you. You can get some like leverage into it. Like, okay, yeah, I can believe that. So you can start saying like, I resonate. I feel resonant when I am centered in myself. That's the beginning of getting there.
Right.
The next thing you could say is, I resonate with at least 3 people out there. That's true. Okay. That's true.
Or it can even be, you know, I'm the people who need to hear me will actually be
Much
in
better.
My audience.
Even better. That's what I was trying to like get at. That's yeah.
So it's less, it's more, I don't know if this is less or more, but it's being very, very specific. So if you say like, I want 100,000 followers, that's not really being specific. It is specific in number, but it's not specific in quality. So I guess quality over quantity, right? So it's very much like the quality of how you want to feel, because that's where we're going into your nervous system. If you say, I want a girlfriend, it's like, okay. The universe is like, okay. And then the universe sends you a girl who is going to be your girlfriend, but you weren't specific in that. What do you actually want? I want someone who's thoughtful, who listens to me, who is kind, who is, understanding of my feelings, who I can talk to, I can be open with. Now you're being specific. And it is the quality that you're concerned about, and not just I want a girlfriend. Because like, yeah, girl, okay, I've manifested plenty of people that I that I didn't necessarily resonate with because I wasn't being specific. And now I'm being specific. Now I'm saying I want a partner that is this, that, and the other thing.
And that also is like, a lot of people will say, I want to feel this way. I want a partner that makes me feel.
Yeah.
That makes me feel fill in the blank. And that's a huge trap in and of itself, because if you know what you are, you know that you are full, whole, and complete within yourself. And so it is on us to feel that way before, this is the huge frustration, before it arrives, because this brings us back to, you can't be in both chairs at once.
Yeah.
In the chair of wanting to feel this way, and then the chair of feeling that way.
Right.
It can only come from you. The manifestation can only come from you.
Right.
So you have to feel that way, quote unquote, without. This is where the trick of like being a being in time and how time feels linear to us.
Oh boy.
But knowing that it's not. Like, we know now at this point in time, this shouldn't be news to you. Like, we know time isn't linear today in 2025.
Right.
So like, somewhere in us, we have to know that we have everything we could ever want at some point in time.
Right. Like, we don't want to do the bypassy thing of not feeling it.
Exactly, because that's another word for lying to yourself.
Yeah, you're lying to yourself. You're bypassing your feelings. So if you say, I want to be a millionaire, certainly you can do that. But you have to feel as though you are someone who is deserving of that type of money. Because, like, I don't necessarily want to be a millionaire. I just want to be comfortable.
Exactly. Or do you want the feeling of, what do you think being a millionaire will make you feel?
Freedom.
Free. Exactly.
So if you say, I want to be financially free, that could be any amount of money. That could be, you got your rent paid all the time. You got your rent paid every month. That's being financially free. As opposed to, I want to be a millionaire, because that's a different energy. That's a different, like, understanding of yourself. Now, you know that if I want to be a millionaire, that means, again, is the bridge of incidents. You don't know how you're going to get there, but you know that you're going to have to work a different way, as opposed to saying, I want to be financially free. Now there's less tension there of like, I gotta work hard and I gotta come up with an idea. You don't have to do all that shit.
Yeah.
Because now the energy feels different. It feels a little looser. It feels a little like that can come in so many different ways and I don't even know how. And then it's the trust. Oh my God, there's the trust.
Ooh.
There's the trusting of that. It's like, as soon as you say, I want to be financially free, now you have to trust that that intention that was put in your mind and your spirit is accurate, is true. So now I must believe and trust that it is coming to me however that is coming. So yes, very hard things. Really hard things
Can be.
And it can't,
Can
and
be.
it, again, hard being relative, but it's just like, it, it takes practice, like anything. It takes practice to manifest. And I would say
Start small. Is that what you were gonna say?
it's really kind of scary how we like how we come up with this. I'll be about to say something and you say it anyway.
Yes.
But yes, I would say we would say
Yes.
start small. Start with something very, like, I would love to have, someone give me a cup of coffee. I don't know, just something really tiny that, like, that proves it to you. That is proof for you. Like, my thing just recently was him. Like, I knew I had the intention. I'm going out. I'm getting a dog today. It's like, at first I thought I was gonna not have to pay because that that first adoption thing that I went to was free. But then they were like, oh, we don't have any little dogs. So I had to go to a place where I had to pay for a dog. But he's obviously worth it. Look at him. But he also is everything that I asked for, except for the color and the gender, like whatever.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter, because he, in every other way, exactly what I needed. And that is what you're trying to prove to yourself. It's not about how something looks. It's more about how it feels to you. And he feels right to me because he, in every other way, is exactly what I needed.
That.
You hear another puppy?
You're right.
Yeah.
You feel right. That's what I meant. You feel right.
So, like, it's less about having something extremely specific, because, like, that's one thing I remember when I first got into manifestation way back in the day. There was a book called The Secret. Do you remember The Secret?
Yeah, the era of The Secret.
And so
Yeah.
I remember reading a very specific passage in there. It was like, wait, test it and see if you can manifest like a feather. And then, like,
that seems hard to me.
Yeah, it was like, see if you can manifest a feather and think about the specific color and like da 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 da. And it was just like, I remember testing that, and I think I was like a teenager when I got The Secret book. But, like, I remember testing that and being like, it didn't work, like, because it was so, like, super specific. And the one of the things that is really like a tenet to, like, manifestation is keeping your manifestation loose, not having such a tight grip on it.
Yeah, like a closed fist can't hold anything.
It's more like an open hand. It's more like a,
Gosh, we didn't even get into like the types of ways, the different ways people can approach manifesting, because there's, like, if you're familiar with human design, there are different ways that you feel more comfortable to you. Like, some people are general manifestors where they're like, you know what, I can be vague and that satisfies me and is okay to my design. There are other people that are like, no, I want XYZ 1 2 3 as said, and that level of specificity doesn't bring anxiety to them.
Right.
Like, for me, it depends on the thing, but being super specific can breed, like, a little bit of anxiety in me. I'm like cool with it being kind of vague in some areas.
Yeah,
and,
me
like,
too.
that's okay according to my, like, energetic design.
Yeah.
So there's so many ways.
So many ways. And then there's also what you would call techniques. So there's so many, oh my God, there's so many different techniques. So there's SATs, which is it's a Neville Goddard thing.
What is it?
The state akin to sleep. So you are, about to fall asleep, and this is also a quantum thing. When you're in a state of drowsiness, suddenly, you're in between dream and your awakeness. One thing that I do in order to manifest is writing and scripting. That's what it's called. So I write what it is that I am looking for, and I keep it rather loose. I don't try to like be, again, you're not, no closed fists. You try to just like meandering your thoughts about the thing that you want. And so you're kind of just letting the spirit take over your writing. But some people like to be a little looser, but some people like to be extremely specific about what it is that they're trying to conjure, they're trying to bring into their awareness. So that's one technique. And then another technique is called SATS, a state akin to sleep, which is literally you're about to go to sleep. Or I would even say lucid dreaming, where you're in, you're kind of in a state in between, being awake, which is your awareness, and dreaming or falling asleep. And in that in between, that moment where you feel like you're about to fall asleep, you're imagining the thing that it is that you want. So if you're imagining a relationship, you might be in the in between of like thinking that your partner is right next to you, or they're like touching your shoulder, or they're asleep in the bed with you. Or if it has to do with a location, or you're manifesting a car or something, you're in the car, you're feeling the wheel, you're putting your foot on the gas pedal, you're watching things go by you as you drive. And you're in the feeling. Like, think about when you're dreaming and how real sometimes that feels, right? And it's just like, and that's where you need to be, or that's where you want to be when you are doing that. And like I said, there's I want to say there's like some like 5 big like manifestation techniques that people use. But ultimately, what it really, all those techniques, all that is doing is reprogramming your subconscious. All that's doing is bringing to your subconscious, and then also your consciousness, your awareness, that you don't necessarily need techniques. All it is doing is the reprogramming part. All it is doing is telling you that because you are having this experience, because you are writing about this, because you have that feeling in your mind and in your body, in your spirit, in your heart, then that is what is happening. It is going to happen because you're in the in between, and the in between is the hardest part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But where you need to go, and where you always need to be, is in the end. You need to be at the end of your journey of that. And then what do you feel like once you have, not only once you have it, but then even after that, after you have it, then how do you feel? How do you feel once you're in the relationship with the person? How do you feel once you have the car? So if you want to feel freedom because you have the car and you can go wherever you want to go, that's how you should feel right now, because you're living in the end.
Specifically, as it comes to, we could take it back to the followers, the following, the this and that. What do you feel? And I'm really, talking to myself too. What do you feel having 100,000 followers will do?
Right.
What is that?
What does that feel
What is
like
that?
to you?
What does that
And
feel? What do you think you can
Yeah.
do after? What does it mean? It's about the meaning, right? Like, what do you feel it means, and why can't you feel successful, accomplished, safe, well heard? Now, something
Right
that
now.
I always, that's on my desk is, who are you allowing yourself to be now? Or everyone is already here. Now what? Very different energy than, screaming and being frustrated from the jump.
Right.
And into your mic as you're recording whatever it is.
Right.
And I'm definitely guilty of that for sure.
And it's one, and I make up my own mantras too.
They're so good.
One that I have that is recent is ease, freedom, surrender, trust. So those are just like steps for me. So it's like ease, because the ease leads to freedom, and then the freedom comes from surrender, and then the surrender leads into trust. So those are things that it's just, they're literally, it's a mantra, but it's like these are the steps to get you the thing that you want.
Yeah.
So it's ease, freedom, surrender, and trust. That's for me. Surrender meaning like, again, that not holding
Open
so
the
tight.
hand.
Yeah. Another one that I got from, there's a he's kind of like a guru. He goes by, his name is Michael Beckwith. And one thing that he said once that I'd like grabbed onto, it was like, better than I can see, better than I can say. Ooh. And that's a really good one too, because it's like sometimes it is better than you can see and better than you can say. So it's like sometimes you want a thing and then you think that that's the ultimate, but if you're holding on loosely to something, then and you say better than I can see, better than I can say, then it's like, well, damn, you might get something even better than what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
So there's a whole, and you could do that all day long. It's just like you're trying to pinpoint the feeling. You want to feel good in the thing that you're trying to bring about. You don't want to keep constantly worrying about it. Is it coming? Is it not? Let me forget about it. And you're going to do that, like we talked about. Like you're going to have an ebb and flow in it. But the truth of the matter is, you always want to feel like, even in the lack, I know.
That's great.
Yeah.
Even in the lack, I know that.
Sometimes I just come up with the stuff I'm not even thinking about it. But it's literally like when you're like, oh my God, is this gonna happen? And then you just get to, yes, it is. It's just not right here, right now. But yes, it will happen. Yeah. It's a lot.
Perfectly said, though.
Yeah.
Perfectly said.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you. I think that brings us to the close of episode 2.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Manifestation. 4D, approaching things from the 4D, incorporating that into our knowledge.
Consciousness. Levels of consciousness. Levels of thinking. Yeah. I would say that, again, if you have any questions, if you have topics that you would like us to explore, please send us
a DM
right under this video in the comment section. We'd love to engage with you as much as possible. And yeah, I would really love to talk more about literally everything, but definitely what it is that you might be inquiring about.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
All right.
See you next time.
Say bye, Harold. Bye.